You're watching TelecomTV's exclusive coverage of the ETSI NFV number 9 meeting in Prague here in the Czech Republic. And I'm joined now by Francois Ozog, who is VP of Business Development at 6Wind. Francois, thanks for joining us today.
Hi.
Can I start by asking where we are at with NFV development? What are you seeing here at the meeting in Prague?
We're seeing a lot of contributions and a lot of progress. It's quite impressive since I've participated also to phase 1. Now it sounds like people have reached, we know what we want to do, but we just have to formalize things. So it's moving at a very high pace. I'm very surprised.
One of the things we're seeing at the moment is the emergence of a lot of other standards, not necessarily standards groups, but technical groups, different bodies, open software groups. There's a lot of these around. How does the industry avoid duplication of work? How does it collaborate better and ensure that what is produced is to the benefit of all?
Well, from the outside, it might look very complicated, a lot of different organizations. But ultimately, NFV is a complex thing with many different components. So you have to have a number of open source projects rather than a big, unmanageable project. So it's good to have, in fact, this natural split of interest between different communities. And if we look at standardization and, let's say, standard organizations and open source projects, I think we are finding a way to work together in a very smart way. I can take an example for hardware acceleration. So there is ETSI activity on hardware acceleration, which is split in a number of work items. And then there is OP-NFV, which also work on many aspects of NFV, and one of it is acceleration. So we came to actually participate to both groups. So it might be the same people or the same organizations participating to both ETSI NFV acceleration and OP-NFV acceleration, but we look at things with a different angle. So we're actually not really duplicating the work. We're extending when the work we do in NFV, in ETSI NFV, we just go a step further with OP-NFV. And there, hopefully, there will be a nice feedback loop on the ETSI NFV. There is one thing that might be challenging to tackle. So ETSI, let's say, typical way of doing standards is stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, where stage 1 you say what you want to solve, stage 2 you have an idea of what you want to solve and how you want to solve it, and then for stage 3 now you're specifying precisely what you want. So with this split between standards and open source, there is something new that will happen for stage 3, because as we're reaching stage 2 now with ETSI NFV, we'll be feeding OP-NFV with requirements, with high-level functional requirements and specifications. But they will do an implicit choice for what we would have called stage 3. So then, okay, this might come later in ETSI when we go to stage 3 for NFV, how we will manage maybe discrepancies or different choices, that remains to be seen.
And this is a factor due to the different types of people who are working in this industry. On the one hand, the traditional telecoms companies, and then on the other hand, the software people.
It's I wouldn't say that. It's because of you want to start fast, so you go to implementation with a number of assumptions. Let's take the example of DNS, domain name system. For years, the domain name system has been established as, in terms of characters, that was only ASCII characters, so no European characters, no Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, whatever characters. Indian. So in that case, we added, you know, the capability of stating Chinese names in the domain name system, but it became late in the process. At the beginning, we need to start. When we think at ETSI, we try to think of the different stages. So probably if we go to stage 3 if we would have gone to stage 3 for DNS, we would have said we need those, you know, UTF-8 representation for names and then from an implementation perspective, we would have probably do directly with a proper international domain name system. So for OP/NFV, we might start with shortcuts to make things happen and get some experience. But then if we want to, after some time, to be not just fast, but be complete, then there will be adjustments to be made.
Because of this and ETSI's very structured approach, is there a feeling among some that maybe work could go faster, or is the open source work resulting in an acceleration of the work that's being done at ETSI NFV ISG?
At least from a deadline perspective, or not deadline, but milestones, I prefer the term milestones. We try to synchronize with the open source community so that when we provide we will try to provide input to those communities in a timely fashion for their own roadmap. So yes, we select to be a little bit more rapid, or to provide more milestones rather than stating, okay, we'll be back in 12 months with something. Now it's changing. Let's come back in 3 months with something usable, and then in 6 months, 9 months. So a faster release schedule.
Francois, fascinating. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.